June 22, 2024. Interstate 40, Arkansas. While patrolling near mile marker 2 heading westbound, Trooper Wright received word from West Memphis Police. A van was fleeing eastbound on I-40. Without hesitation, Wright diverted off at the Mound City exit and joined the pursuit. What started as a local chase was now escalating into a full-scale multi-agency operation. Who was behind the wheel of that van and what were they running from? From a distance, officers spotted a gray Dodge Caravan. Despite emergency lights flashing, the driver ignored commands to stop and floored it. The suspect accelerated past 100 miles per hour, weaving recklessly through traffic and threading dangerously between vehicles as the chase began at full speed. At mile marker 23, the suspect began to slow down. Officer Wright seized the opportunity and executed a perfect TVI, sending the vehicle spinning backward into a guardrail.
One running. He's heading northbound into the tree line.
The driver, Theon Rashad Loveberry, was thrown from the car and attempted to flee on foot into the nearby woods, but was swiftly taken down. He was transported to the hospital for treatment before being booked into jail, where he now faces a long list of felony charges. December 5, 2024. Baxter County, Arkansas. A Chevy Trax reported stolen from a rural village off County Road 69. Triggered an immediate search by the Baxter County Sheriff's Office. Minutes later, deputies spotted the vehicle heading south, but the driver wasn't planning to go quietly. He hit the gas and managed to temporarily shake law enforcement. The chase seemed over, until moments later the same vehicle was seen heading back north, speeding past a Dollar General. What was the suspect thinking? And how far could he really get? The suspect sped into the Dean's Top and Canvas area, barreling through a densely populated neighborhood at dangerous speeds. He weaved recklessly between cars in a desperate attempt to outrun police. As he approached County Road 67-9, he nearly collided head-on with a deputy sheriff traveling in the opposite direction, a close call that could have ended in tragedy. The suspect turned onto U.S. Highway 62 412, now heading east at over 100 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone. Officers accelerated aggressively to attempt a TVI maneuver and bring the pursuit to an end. But the suspect also hit the gas, narrowly avoiding both tactical attempts. As the suspect approached the intersection of Charles Blackburn Drive, officers appeared to have learned from his evasive tactics. On the third attempt, the TVI was flawless. The suspect's vehicle flipped over and veered off the roadway. The chase ended there, and the driver was quickly taken into custody. He was later identified as Vincent Walrath. The suspect sustained minor injuries and was transported to Baxter Health for treatment. Deputies suspected drug impairment and administered the horizontal gaze nystagmus (HGN) test. He showed all 6 out of 6 clues, along with signs of vertical gaze nystagmus. Following medical clearance, he was transported to the county jail, where he now awaits formal charges and toxicology results. May 12, 2025, Nashville, Tennessee. Shots rang out on Division Street near 8th Avenue as police responded to a violent attack. Tadarius Milan Hunt, 29, was identified as the suspect who allegedly opened fire on a staff member from a local Nashville relief center. The victim was critically wounded and rushed to the hospital in life-threatening condition. The motive remains under investigation, but what led to this violent outburst in broad daylight?
Shots fired! Yeah.
As officers closed in, Hunt pulled out a concealed firearm and opened fire on police. 2 deputies returned fire, discharging more than a dozen rounds in response. Hunt was struck, then immediately transported to the hospital for emergency treatment. Just hours after arriving at the hospital, the suspect succumbed to his injuries. Deputy Clayton Lewis, who was shot in the leg during the exchange,
I think I got hit in the leg. Something hit me in the leg.
is currently recovering in the hospital. Remarkably, no civilians were hurt, although several bullets shattered nearby windows during the gunfire. October 24, 2024, a red entity blew past state troopers and vanished into the night, or so it thought. Moments later, the vehicle was spotted again, this time by Grundy County deputies. As it crossed into Kankakee County near Illinois Route, officers sprang into action with a spike strip, successfully taking out one tire. But even with a disabled wheel, the suspect didn't stop. What was he running from, and what was so important that made him risk everything to keep driving? Near Route 17 and 17,000 West Road in Kankakee County, the suspect suddenly veered into a cornfield, an unwise move for a low-clearance vehicle. As the car struggled through the rough terrain, it became increasingly bogged down. A well-timed pit maneuver by police ended the chase, forcing the suspects to abandon the vehicle and flee on foot.
Get your hands up! Get them up! Get them up! Turn out! Get them up! Get down in the car! Get down in the car!
Both suspects, identified as Roy Ben Barahona and Erazo Velasquez, were taken into custody and confirmed to be from Honduras. Minutes after the arrest, the vehicle caught fire and was later towed to the police department.
Hey Brett, if you're on ProAct, it tested positive for coke. Looks like a kilo.
Block on the left-hand side.
No doubt about it.
There, officers discovered 3 kilograms of fentanyl hidden inside. The 2 suspects now face serious charges, including drug trafficking and resisting law enforcement.
That's the trap that it lifted up the hydraulic. Yeah, hydraulic. Yeah, we're gonna have more than one for sure. There's at least 2. Let me get this out of here. 3 bricks. Years. Come on. I've been on. Come on.
This seizure stands as one of the largest drug busts ever recorded in Grundy County. The fentanyl recovered was potent enough to kill an estimated 1.5 million people. Thankfully, officers intervened just in time, stopping this deadly poison from hitting the streets and saving countless lives in the process. It was a mission executed with precision, and its success could not be more critical. May 11, 2025. Tampa, Florida. What started as an illegal street takeover on a Saturday night quickly escalated into a full-scale enforcement operation across Tampa. Thanks to the swift coordination between the Florida Highway Patrol (FHP) and the Tampa Police Department, the unlawful gathering was shut down before it could spiral into chaos. Officers moved in fast, blocking intersections, intercepting convoys, and taking control of the streets before things got out of hand. As soon as they spotted the police, the suspects floored the gas, racing off at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. They weaved dangerously through traffic, desperately trying to shake off pursuing units. But the chase didn't last long. Thanks to tight coordination between officers and the execution of precise TVI maneuvers, the suspects were quickly stopped and taken into custody without further incident.
Do you have any more that are going on, sir? Give me another mark that you actually use for the service. That's what we're doing here. If you're already detained, what we got before we're doing another takeover.
Eventually, law enforcement apprehended one of the key suspects involved in the incident. Several of the vehicles used during the chaos were also impounded and transported to the police station for further investigation. Additional suspects were later taken into custody and are now facing multiple charges, including unlawful assembly, obstruction of traffic, and resisting law enforcement. Number 30.
Yeah, that we're now.
Can't call nobody. Don't put them in the same cars. Okay.
Good. Black Mercedes. Olive Road.
On August 29, 2023, Florida Highway Patrol Trooper Soto attempted to stop a black four-door Mercedes traveling northbound on State Road 33 from Interstate 4. But instead of pulling over, the driver sped away, triggering a high-speed pursuit across the highway. Swerved hard to avoid other vehicles, losing control and nearly crashing into a car traveling in the same direction. It was a near miss that could have ended in disaster.
Made a right out of Berkeley. Right at the job on Berkeley. Take a flag! Let me see! Let me see! Let me see!
In a surprising twist, the reckless driver turned out to be a woman. Seated beside her was a male passenger. After the intense chase, both were quickly detained and escorted into patrol vehicles without further resistance. Against all odds, she managed to slip out of her handcuffs and began damaging the patrol car from the inside. But it didn't stop there.
Knock it off! You want to get hobbled? Knock it off! All right, we'll come talk to you in a second. Just chill.
Chill! You are gonna get sprayed if you don't stop. Chill. Then get out of the car now. Okay. Step out. Or I will. Okay, don't spray me. I'm not playing with you.
When ordered to exit the vehicle, she struck an officer in the face, escalating the situation even further. The female driver was later taken into custody. Upon searching the vehicle, officers discovered a stolen handgun, previously reported missing. She now faces a stack of serious charges, including assault, possession of a stolen firearm, resisting arrest.
Can you like take these off? Like it's gonna cut me, like my circulation. Like you don't fucking get it.
If you didn't slip out the cuffs the first time, you wouldn't have this problem. Does that make sense?
God, bro, fuck, too tight, bro. That's fucking illegal.
Check my Texas lines. Adam Edward Boy 7651. Stop the vehicle! Stop the vehicle!
On January 30th, 2023, 28-year-old Elijah Combs led Greenfield police on a wild high-speed chase down South 27th Street. As the red and blue lights lit up behind him, he chose to run, not stop. When officers arrived, the suspect managed to maneuver the vehicle out of the snow and continued the pursuit.
Stop the vehicle! Stop the vehicle!
But one can't help but wonder, why wasn't the car secured when it was stuck? That could have been the perfect chance to end the chase safely. Exited the vehicle and surrendered without further resistance.
Put your hands up, ma'am! Stay back there! Do not move! Stay back there! Stop! Stop moving! Stop moving!
Sir, I'm not. Look,
Stop!
I'm not.
Stop! Stop!
We have one civilian. We get more squad.
Stop moving or else you're gonna get tased, okay?
I'm not, sir.
Stop moving or else you're gonna get tased. Hey. Stop moving or else you're going to get tased.
I'm scared.
I understand, sir. Hey, sir. Just get on the ground or else
The driver was identified as Elijah Combs, who was arrested for driving under the influence. Records show he has a prior history of domestic violence, but had previously been released shortly after his
Stop
arrest.
moving. Stop moving. Stop moving. Stop. Do not reach. Okay? Okay? Step back. Who's in the car with you?
Nobody.
Nah, stop moving or else I'm gonna take you to the ground and tase you.
I gave you to me, officer.
Okay,
I gave
stop
you to
moving.
me.
Stop moving. Stop. Hey, you're tensing on me, bud. Stop it. Okay, stop tensing. You got this other arm?
Stop tensing up. Stop tensing up.
There's something that was thrown out at home, so somebody can look at it.
Cuff him.
You have someone in custody. I'm not beating him up with anything. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing. Oh yeah, I'm doing nothing.
Let's put you back here for a minute. Okay, get it around. Your camera's on. 6 dispatch to the 29.
You're 29. Aaliyah is valid negative with a state ID.
June 18, 2024, West Memphis, Arkansas. A routine crash turned into a criminal pursuit when a white Chevrolet Tahoe fled the scene after causing an accident near 714 Ingram Boulevard. West Memphis police quickly responded, tracking the suspect vehicle as it merged onto Interstate 40, heading eastbound toward Memphis, Tennessee. What started as a traffic offense had now escalated into a felony hit and run. With every passing mile, the question grew louder. What was this driver running from, and why was he willing to risk everything to get away? The pursuit came to a violent end when the Tahoe slammed into a silver Mazda, then crashed into a Volvo semi-truck, crushing the SUV's front end. The vehicle came to a crippled stop in the middle of the interstate, wrecked and exposed.
Show me your hands! Driver, put your hands up in the windshield. Driver, put your hands up in the windshield. Driver, put your hands up in the windshield. How many occupants are in the vehicle? Hold your fingers up for how many occupants are inside the vehicle. I got this.
The suspect was taken into custody at the scene without further incident. He was identified as Keith Burns and transported to Regional 1 Hospital for treatment before being released to Memphis police custody. Number 1, hey adrenaline junkies. Welcome to Falcon, police Dashcam. From an armed suspect forcing officers to open fire. September 2, 2024. What began as a routine traffic stop for excessive speed quickly escalated into something far more dangerous. A patrol unit spotted a vehicle barreling down Interstate 40 at 130 miles per hour near Mound City Road. The officer activated emergency lights, and the suspect vehicle initially slowed to 85.
Eastbound, 803.
But just when it seemed like the driver was going to comply, they made a split-second decision that changed everything and turned a simple stop into a full-blown high-speed chase. As the suspect showed signs of fleeing, Officer Wright executed a precise TVI maneuver, successfully disabling the vehicle.
hands! Show me your hands!
2 running southbound. Looks like Hispanic males.
Both suspects immediately bailed out on foot. Inside the car, officers recovered 2 cell phones, a Honduran passport, and vehicle registration documents. After over 2 hours of intense searching, officers identified the driver as Christian Joel Lopez Perdomo, the man behind the wheel at the start of this dangerous pursuit.
One head here, so they split up. One headed east.
Officers detected the odor of alcohol and observed clear signs of intoxication. The suspect was treated for minor injuries and later transported to Crittenden County Jail, where he refused to submit to a blood alcohol test. Quickly responded, tracking the suspect vehicle as it merged onto Interstate 40, heading eastbound toward Memphis, Tennessee. What started as a traffic offense had now escalated into a felony hit and run. With every passing mile, the question grew louder. What was this driver running from, and why was he willing to risk everything to get away? Number 10. Near mile marker 2081 on I-40, Officer Little spotted a black Chevy Tahoe speeding away, with a silver Camaro tailing closely behind. Despite emergency lights being when the Tahoe slammed into a silver Mazda, then crashed into a Volvo semi-truck, crushing the SUV's front end. The vehicle came to a crippled stop in the middle of the interstate, wrecked and exposed. Number 12. The suspect was taken into custody at the scene without further incident. He was identified as Keith Burns and transported to Regional 1 Hospital for treatment before being released to Memphis police custody. Burns now faces multiple charges,